What's going on, everyone? Badger here. And if you haven't been watching Peacemaker, we're still basically dealing with the ramifications of one. Peacemaker has his father's house now, and in that house, there is a door that goes to a pocket dimension that has doors to other realities, 99 of them. And in one of them, there was an alternate reality Peacemaker who Prime DCU Peacemaker killed in a fight. And he now is realizing that the Peacemaker in that world maybe has a better life, or so he thinks. He's beloved as a hero, and he was dating Harcourt, who is the love interest that Peacemaker wants. And so we are spending more and more time there. And in the third episode, we got our biggest hit and a couple of things people noticed about that alternate timeline. So first and foremost, they fight a domestic terrorist group. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, of course it's a domestic terrorist group. And of course I noticed they're all white people in that domestic terrorist group. So it's the Sons of Liberty, which it exists, but it also exists in a very specific part of the timeline. And another thing happened. People started to notice that in addition to that terrorist group being all white, everyone is all right, no matter where you look. And they put it here. There's not a single non-white extra or character in the scene set on parallel Earth. And some fans have even suggested that the cars there are all either American or German made. Some of the cops even have mustaches and combed over hair. And historically speaking, the Sons of Liberty aren't necessarily considered evil, because they fought the British for American rights. The implication seems to be that this is Earth X, a reality where Germans won World War II, and the world's heroes are, for lack of a better term, Nazis. So Peacemaker's father and brother don't appear to be racist, because in this world, every other race has been eliminated, and it's looking that way. Before we go back to that, there was a detail here that someone pointed out, that when they're together and Peacemaker says, I just wanted to know what was up. What does that mean? And he goes, what's happening? And she goes, what is that? What's that supposed to mean? Because what's going on, what's up, what's happening come from Black culture in like the 60s and 70s, and it's been adapted to common uses. What's up? So what's up did not used to be a greeting back in the day, and that's sort of what that is hinting at. Also, this one people noticed, interesting to note that the attack is on the Office of Housing and Development rather than the Office of Housing and Urban Development. For certain people, urban, which is what to most people it does these days, translates to black, explaining Harcourt's confusion in the scene where Chris says the word. In place of Nazis, it seems like this Earth is extremely far right, a political statement that lines up with what we know about James Gunn's beliefs, because obviously he's got TDS like most people in Hollywood. If this theory is correct, then it suggests that the world Chris has discovered, far from the perfect reality he perceives it to be. As they point out in the main timeline, it is very, you can see here, the biggest clues in episode 3 are Peacemaker's visits to the alt universe Argus, which says Advanced Research Government. It's a completely different acronym. His impromptu date with Harcourt. Gunn cleverly uses A and B storylines on the episode to show the two different versions of Argus simultaneously. The main universe, which is diverse as hell, and yes, has Tim Meadows and everyone else, compared to the alternate universe Argus. The office is distinctly all white. The same discrepancy can be seen during Peacemaker's bike ride into Argus HQ and later in the town square. When I first started seeing, I think Kada also was the one that actually responded, where he's saying, well, we're not going to talk about how the fact that in alternate Earth, everyone is white. And indeed, everyone was all white. The kids were all white. And so here we have what could be the results of that. While other franchises have turned multiversal stories into hollow fan service, this seems like it could have some intense stakes. One, the emotional hit of Chris learning that he and his family are still rotten in any world. A psychological hit of Chris having to reconcile his attraction to this world his dad conquered and what that says about him. I don't think he's even noticed anything is wrong, so I don't think it says much. The physical and emotional hits to come from the inevitable falling out with Keith and Augie over killing their version of Chris, and then the existential hit of knowing his variant self died before getting himself or his life right, which could end up being the biggest motivator for main universe Chris to change. Yeah. Smith Chris Smith, Peacemaker, is definitely on a hero journey. He's tired of just being an assassin for Waller and government agencies. He wants to actually be a hero. We kind of saw that at the end of the first season, but then he gets regressed when basically Justice Gang doesn't want him. It would have been Justice League, but he keeps getting rejected, even though he did save the world at the end of the first one. All of them did. And so that's where you get the drug-fueled orgies and all that, and the want to go disappear into a seemingly grass is always greener on the other side parallel Earth that is probably going to be anything but. Yeah. So for all those reasons, I now am convinced that yes, that alternate Earth is going to be the Nazi right-wing conservative, because to them it's the same thing, and it is all just fancy TDS, which is par for the course right now. Sort of what you're just seeing in South Park. It's just TDS, not even good or entertaining.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Anyway, let me know what you think about all this. By all means, make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well, bye.